So many people want to make money, they want to become successful, they want to get in shape, etc. Identify that goal, clear cut, then do what's required to get to that goal, bar none.
What's your dream? Once you figure that out, if you want it bad enough, you're gonna follow it. If you show up every day, things are gonna happen.
If we could do it, you can.
I'm George Bruno. I'm having a conversation with Fresh and Fit from the Fresh and Fit podcast and YouTube channel. Welcome, guys.
Hey, man. Happy to be here, George.
Yeah.
Good to see you as well, man.
Yeah. Wow. I came in on the tail end of the 6th, the live broadcast, and you were talking about how being in the gym gave you the discipline that you needed for the show. And then now your life revolves around the show.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking, you got to do the work. If you want the results, you got to do the work. It's not an accident, is it? The success of your show, because I think that you guys might be the fastest growing podcast that I'm aware of right now. It's huge.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I mean, seriously.
Possibly.
Yeah. And a lot of people are
Thank you.
buzzing about it. Like everybody's amazed at how fast you're growing. What would you say is the secret to your success?
I'm gonna be honest, man, networking. Because we've done crossovers where, for example, we're in one niche. Let's say we're into fitness and social media. Someone else is into like vlogging, into like, cars. So bringing people onto our platform, bigger audiences, kind of like share value for each party. And we bring together a massive bunch of value for each person watching the podcast. And then the studio.
Yeah. So like Fresh's networking skills are unmatched, and we got to give a shout out to our boy Trey, our audio engineer.
Yep.
He studies YouTube, and he's the guy behind the ones and twos. He doesn't like to come on camera often, but he's our audio engineer, and he watches YouTube all the time. So he'll watch content creators and be like, listen, this guy's in this niche, but if you work with him, get him on the show, what's going to happen is the crossover is going to be great because we already have a good product. It's just about putting the product out in front of other people that are dealing with potentially the same problem that they're not even aware of. So for example, a guy that likes cars, likes watching McLarens and Ferraris, whatever. Well, everyone's struggling with the sexual marketplace nowadays, right? A lot of guys are having trouble with girls. So they'll come in and they'll be like, all right, let me watch this guy on this podcast. And then they find out, whoa, this was entertaining. These guys are out here with ninja masks and swords and all this other stuff and girls or whatever. Let me tune in and see what's going on. And then bang, like they just start watching the content like, damn, I found you guys through such and such, found you through such and such. And then we get in the recommended feed. And there's a bunch of other things that we're doing behind the scenes too to make sure that happens. But yeah, I would say making sure we have a good product, and that stems also from the studio. Like we put our heart and soul into that thing, man. I spent many sleepless nights making sure we get the right equipment, best microphones, cloud lifters, wires, mixers, running a whole video setup independently of the sound setup, having a producer, having an audio engineer in-house, so that when we have like 15, 20 people in the studio, we're able to get the best, crispy audio. When everyone's yelling, it doesn't clip. Like all these crazy things behind the scenes that people don't think. And, I can confidently say now at this point, without sounding too cocky, like I've looked at every major podcasting setup and we have by far the best.
Yeah.
And
you didn't start out this way.
Yeah, nah.
How humble was it when you first started?
Man, it was, I started with a Blue Yeti microphone and my MacBook. And I started talking smack and getting on other people's channels and talking. And then I realized
Mixers, none
of that.
Kind of stuff.
None of that. And then I quickly realized that the Blue Yeti is an inferior mic. It's a poverty mic, as I say now. And it's a good starter mic.
Yeah.
But if you want to take your production to like the next level and really get that crispy audio, you need a real production mic. So I started with the Shure SM7B. I fell in love with it. It's a traditional podcasting mic. It's what Joe Rogan uses, what all the top podcasters use. And we just I looked at Joe Rogan, I looked at Timcast, I looked at No Jumper, I looked at all these top podcasts, and I was like, took from them the best, and switched it around for our situation. And, we put our little Miami vibe on it, and we got the Fresh Fit podcast now, so.
Yeah. I remember Donovan talking about every time he made a little money, he invested it into his show. And at every milestone, he just improved the studio a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Where do you, like right now, you have the best of the best. Can you go any higher at this point?
Yeah, there's always room for improvement. I think thinking that we're the, I always say I hold ourselves to that standard, like we're the best, but to have that, that, how do I say this, that confidence that comes from, we're going to keep improving. We're never going to stop. You know what I'm saying? So there's always room for improvement. I'm always looking at new cameras. I'm always looking at new lenses. I'm always looking at how to get better audio. Another thing that Trey does, like me and Trey pretty much like manage the equipment, what we're going to get, what we shouldn't get, what's needed, what's not needed. Fresh like deals a lot with the networking and getting guests and locking in show topics and stuff like that. So it'll frees me up to focus on making sure that studio's always immaculate, very aesthetically pleasing. So when the people come in, they're like, holy crap, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And just making sure, because I always say, like, if you take yourself serious, people are going to take you seriously. And when they come into the studio and they see like, oh, these guys aren't messing around, and it just like adds another level. And then it builds more and more social proof, because the more people we get that, have big audiences, they see the studio and then they tell their boys, you need to come on this podcast. This is crazy. We've had it before where they'll be in the studio and they'll be like, oh, bro, I'm on the Fresh Fit podcast. Look at this setup. Yo, you need to come out here. And then they'll come. It's
And there's
crazy.
a saying that says comfort is the enemy of achievement. So if you get comfortable in your current state, you can start growing. So for us, we get the team say, you know what, we may be the best right now, but that can always easily fade away if we don't keep up. And we do streams like 2 to 3 times a day. So most people that do podcasts, they do it once a week, twice a week. We do 2 to 3 streams a day. That's so Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't get too comfortable.
Future.
Yeah, future. Hey, you know what I'm saying? We say it all the time, man. Bitches don't get too comfortable. So yeah, no, like, when we say we're the #1 dating podcast, like we mean that. And we're like, now we're trying to be the #1 podcast. We're trying to transition. We had a couple big fitness YouTubers come on. How to Beast and Austin Dunham. We've had, Tall Guy Car Reviews and Mr. Organic. Big, shout out to our boy, Mr. Organic, 3 of them. Both those guys are top of the mook. And the thing is that we to bring these guys on, they see that we're like regular cool dudes, and we built like a strong relationship with these guys. And like there's a lot more, like you meet these content creators and you're like, wow, these guys are like really cool in person.
Yeah.
And you get into other fields that you otherwise wouldn't have. Like, we're not a car channel, we started as a fitness channel, but like not a fitness vlog channel. So bring these guys in, it's been really cool to like collaborate with people outside of the sphere.
There is a correlation between your effort and your success. It wasn't an accident. There's a lot of work that went into what you have right now. I heard you say you don't do much editing or any editing. Everything is live.
Yeah.
When it happens, it happens.
Do it live.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so basically, for us, it's kind of like we are the game, we are the knowledge, so we don't have to like script anything. So
Yeah.
we go live, we talk about it man to man. Hey man, this is how you get girls. We don't do it. So we had our L's and our W's, which means, for example,
Way more L's.
and we've won us sometimes. So
Yeah.
we just share our knowledge and like we just go live. And we have a team, like I said before. We have, networking, studio setup, mouthpiece. We got Trey, just audio, and then we have Tom, the YouTube guy.
Yeah.
So he posts all the videos, he does all the scheduling. So each person has.
We got our boy Chris.
And Chris too.
Chris, our producer. He's the one. So what he does is he switches the videos and he's managing the chat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then we have a team of mods in there too, like 20 guys almost, where they're helping like, filter out idiots or haters or trolls or whatever it is. And then also, Chris is responsible for helping us source the girls. Because me and Fresh used to do it ourselves, but that's a pain in the ass, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
So, so what Chris does now is he manages a couple of people that source girls for us. He gets the girls when they show up to the studio, because me and Fresh, like, we'll finish the show. He's coordinating the girls. By the time we finish our regular show, by like 6, 7, 8 p.m., the girls are rolling in about 9. We take like a quick break, do the next show. He gives them the little spiel, hey, don't be disrespectful, but they still act crazy sometimes. Yeah. And then, and then we get to the show. And then after the show's done, some guys from we have a couple guys in the mods that give us timestamps. Put the timestamps, put them in there, and then me, Trey, and Fresh, sometimes Chris too, we go get sushi, and then we talk about what we're gonna do for the week. And this is like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
It's a team effort.
Yeah, it's a team effort for sure. So we got to definitely thank our YouTube guy Tom, Chris, our producer, Trey, our audio engineer / YouTube strategist and equipment manager with me, and then obviously Fresh does the networking, and then I do managing the studio, everything else like that, and being on the show obviously as a co-host. But yeah, man, it's a team effort. Like, we're all like have multiple hats that we wear to make sure the show is the best it can be.
Yeah. Did you ever say anything that you regret? Like, do any words ever come out of your mouth and you think to yourself, ooh, I shouldn't have said that?
Oh man, it's funny. Like, we keep it so real, and it's who we are. So I said one time, I don't like. Should I say it on camera?
Say it, bro.
Okay.
Fuck it.
So I said
They can edit it.
like black ghetto girls. People took that so far on Twitter, like Black Twitter was like, "Oh, he hates black women." I'm like, no, I just don't like black ghetto girls. So things we say on the show, people take to heart, and it's funny because this is how I feel. But most men can't say that because they'll be cut off from their job, they'll be fired, whatever. So for me, it's kind of like this is who I am, take it or leave it. And you said some stuff too.
Yeah, I've said, yeah, like, I mean, the beauty is this, it's live, so it's not edited, it's not scripted, it is what it is. So when I kick these girls out or we're like going, talking smack to these girls, it's all live. And I think that's why people love it, because it's like, some guys can, a lot of guys in this sphere, they talk about, yeah, I know this and I know that and I know how to deal with girls, blah, blah, blah. But like when you see us there with 15, 20 girls and we're handling the room, you know what I'm saying? And we're making it happen, and sometimes we got to kick girls out, it's mayhem, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and nothing's edited, so whatever we say is whatever we say. But the beauty is this: we're congruent 100% of the time. So it's like one girl tried to put me on blast, right, on Instagram, and she was like, oh, well, if everyone knew that you were telling chicks that you only want to sleep with them if they're gonna do anything with you, then I can expose you. But I was like, try me, bitch, go ahead. And she reposted on Instagram. So she posted our conversation on Instagram. I reposted that conversation and I talked about it on YouTube because I got nothing to hide. I'm the same guy on camera that I am off camera.
Yeah.
And people love that because like when they meet us in person, they're like, damn, y'all niggas the same.
It's like vlogging too. It's funny because on the podcast you talk about who you are. So people don't really know you that well. But when it's your lifestyle on the vlogs, it's like, oh damn, these guys are really getting girls, really living life, and really doing what they say they do on the podcast. So
Well,
Yeah.
I heard you say you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable
Yeah.
during your speech. Talk about that. Expand that.
So, and this comes from my background with fitness. So, for those of you that might not know, I started lifting weights. I was skinny my whole life. I started lifting weights at 18 years old. Built up like a decent little mediocre physique, and then I started rowing Division I in college at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, and that like made me really learn that you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable if you want to grow at least and become better. And that same mindset of being in the gym and being diligent with what you eat, sleeping enough, drinking enough water, getting in shape. And you're a fit guy, especially at your age, so through the test of time that you need to be consistent over time. Basically, discipline, consistency plus time plus effort equals success every single time. So I just took that same discipline and tenacity with the gym and training that I learned from, bodybuilding and rowing at a Division I level, and I applied it over to the business. And I'll tell you this, man, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and rowing on the Charles River is much easier than, making sure that I'm cleaning up the studio, making sure that it's better, whatever. I was able to take that like pain, how do I say this? Enduring that pain from training and applying it over to, another endeavor that's a little bit, I mean, it's painful in another way, but it's not physically painful. And I was just able to say, you know what, well, it doesn't suck as much as like a 2K or a 6K, so I'm just gonna get it done. So that's how I look at things in life. Oh, it's not as bad as, squatting 225 for 20 reps without stopping, like this, it could be worse, and I just keep doing what I'm doing, so, yeah.
Like that. How about you? What's your secret?
for me, it's kind of like how to put this in layman terms. It's like I see things that I want, people have it. I ask the question, why can't I have it? So I came to America 6 years ago.
From where?
Barbados, right? I'm from the islands.
He came on a banana boat.
Yeah. If you know Rihanna the singer, I actually went to school here.
Yeah.
So it's a small island in the Caribbean.
Okay.
But long story short, basically for me, it's kind of like, okay, I see a lifestyle that I want, right? I see others have it. And ask the question, why can't I have it? So what I do is I plan my day accordingly to reach my goals and my dreams. And along with my team, I want to make sure that everyone has their goals in order. So for me, it's kind of like, okay, you know what? I wake up, I have a vision board, and I stick to those goals and that passion. So I don't waver. I don't like,
And he had that since I first met him.
yeah. So I'm very goal oriented and I write out everything. So let's say I want to get a Lamborghini, I write it down. Let's say I want to reach, talking to 10 girls a day, I write it down. So once I complete those goals, those confidence, and that drives me to do even better and do bigger things. So,
I like that. I know Barbados because I did
oh, wow.
a lot of missionary work there 40 years ago.
Damn.
Oh.
I wasn't even born.
Yeah, 40 years ago.
God damn.
And I worked with a church on Maxwell Road.
Ooh.
I don't know where it is. It's in Christchurch. I know that. And the pastor was Morris Cox. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, Cox is the Caribbean, Barbados name.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Tell the truth.
It was a very interesting time of my life. It really was.
Okay.
All right. So here, this is the value. This is going to be the gold nugget of this conversation. There are going to be people watching this who, like, for instance, when I was talking with Minister Jab, he said just being around you guys and watching your success has motivated him. Like the iron sharpens iron thing. It's like he's said he's going to go back to Chicago now, and he's really going to hit it because you guys threw the challenge at him with your growth. So he might be creeping up on you pretty soon. I mean, who knows, right? But that's cool.
We'll know. We look at everyone's numbers.
You
We'll know.
you inspired someone to kind of, you lit a fire in him. So there are people who are watching this right now, and they're in that little camera right there. But why don't you motivate them and tell them what they need to do to reach their goals?
The biggest thing is identify the goal, figure out what's needed to achieve that goal, and then do what's required without asking questions, period. That's the biggest thing. Like, so many people want to make money, they want to become successful, they want to get in shape, etc. And we live in a fast food society of instant gratification. This isn't Uber fitness or Uber success, guys. You know what I'm saying? You got to do the fucking work, you know? So figure out what you want to do, identify that goal, clear cut, then do what's required to get to that goal, bar none, period.
And I'll say this: a lot of you want to be successful, but you won't be. Only those that want as bad as they can breathe are going to make it happen. So the late nights of you doing what you don't want to do, going out and actually talking to people to, meet your dreams, all that stuff takes work and drive, but it only comes when you want it as bad as you want to breathe. So I would say if you want to have success in your own right, maybe you want to do marketing, maybe you want to do social media, maybe you want to do like a doctor, whatever it is, right? You have to want it so bad you can really breathe and think about it. Like sometimes I can't sleep at night because I'm like, yo, like I want this vision so bad for our team and us to win that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. If you don't have that passion, that drive, then in my opinion, don't even try. So you can create that for yourself by finding out what you want out of life and what is your why? Why are you here? Are you here to play around and go to school? I mean, that's cool and all, but what's your dream? Once you figure that out, map out a plan backwards. Like write down your goals from A to Z. Okay, you know what? I want to be a doctor. I have to go to school for 8 years or whatever. I have to, study every day for 3 hours. You have to put on in a, I would say, detailed format what you want, and then make it happen. Like any excuse to not follow those rules or those goals, then that's on you. But if you want it bad enough, you're gonna follow it. And at some point, if you show up every day, things are gonna happen. So.
And one other thing, you said something really important about the why. Guys, the why, that's got to be the most important thing, because if the why is some bitch, your parents, friends, whatever it is, you're never going to see it through. The why has always got to be for me. Say that again. The why has always got to be for me. And the reason why is because when you do things for yourself, you're going to push to that another level that you wouldn't for other people. I know it's selfish. I know it sounds awful, but that's how you got to do it. Because if your motivation is to get girls or to impress your parents or whatever it may be, you're never going to have your heart and soul in it. And more importantly, you're not going to enjoy it. And on top of that, you're not going to be able to see the goal through when you hit those tough times where you feel like giving up. It's got to be intrinsic to you. That's how you're going to see it through all the way.
And lastly, ask yourself the question, why them and not me? I'm not better than you. He's not better than you. Figure out for yourself, what do you want? Why us and not you?
We're regular niggas from Miami, man. Like it's not like,
There you go.
So if we could do it, you can. Like seriously, guys, nothing special about us.
Inspiration from Fresh and Fit, from the Fresh and Fit podcast and YouTube channel. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
George, thank you so much. It's always good talking with you.